What's up and welcome back, everybody, to another one of these vlogs. So I've got a Type R transmission build going on right there, which I don't know. There we go. We can focus on it. So there's a Type R transmission that I ended up getting. That's gonna be getting built to go in my car. It's got the helical LSD in it and all B16 gears. So that's gonna end up going in my car. And then the one that's in my car is actually a GSR transmission that I converted to an LSD transmission by installing a Type R LSD. So that car is going to be coming out, or that transmission is going to be coming out of my car, and it's going to be up for sale. So if any of you guys watching this want to hop on that transmission, I do have a few people asking for it, but you know how that goes. First person to approach me with the money obviously takes it. I don't hold parts for anybody. As soon as somebody comes with the cash, it's gone. And so we're working on this thing here. That's a built B18 bottom end. It's got I-beam rods, race engineering pistons, low compression, with a big old turbo under this Haynes book right here. So this thing is running and everything. The only thing is that now I have to pull the transmission again because basically what's happening is, look up here. It's freaking gimbals. So now what's happening is I went in there, I pulled the transmission and opened it up to fix a third gear grind, put the synchro and the sleeve and everything in it, and for whatever reason, I don't know exactly what happened, but I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I believe the car is stuck in fourth gear. So when we try to start it, it almost tries to like drive, but because the car is up in the air, it can't exactly drive. So I have to drop the transmission and do all that. That's not what we're gonna be messing with on this in this show though. It's 6 o'clock over here. I'm only gonna be here for maybe like 4 hours. So what we are going to be working on is this right here. So one of the things we're gonna be working on, so we have these headers right here. I don't know if any of you follow me on my Instagram, you'll see that we picked up an EK sedan the other night. It's got a full V20 swap in it, meaning the automatic transmission included. The car does belong to a friend of mine. I went with him to go pick it up, and he saw these headers and he wants these headers. I really don't want to get rid of them, so we've got some deal worked out to where if he ever gets rid of the car, I get these headers back. All these PLM headers always come with some hardware, so you can bolt it like that. And the guy gave me a bag with the rest of the hardware, but I don't really like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take this off, and I'm gonna go ahead and weld that shut right here so we can make these one piece. And then I have to weld the exhaust on his car because he actually got the car open header with the stock headers. His exhaust is cut over there somewhere, so I'm just gonna cut it and then match up the flanges and stuff like that. That'll be for another time. All right, I may have gotten a little ahead of myself. So I cleaned up and I got the header up here, and I already started laying down a few welds. The reason I did that though is because I have that bolt right there holding it in place for me right now, kind of like how it's gonna sit. This doesn't really matter right here because this thing moves around. So I went ahead and started laying a few here. I threw down a few practice ones here. Once I got it dialed in, then I went ahead and just started laying down a few here, and I got a little carried away, but yeah, you can see some of the splashes and stuff there. So what I'm gonna do now is I set up the grinder again with the cutting wheel. I'm gonna cut this bolt off, and then I'm debating whether I should cut these off or not. I mean, it's not really necessary to cut those little ears off. I don't think it's gonna really interfere with my welding, so I think I'm just gonna leave them on. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut that bolt off, and then I'm gonna put the flap disc back on here so I can finish cleaning the rest of the way around. And then I'll finish welding that up, and then we will be done with my buddy's headers, and then we can move on to the next thing, which oh, so the other night I was topping off my car. That's the whole reason I got it out there with the hood popped. I was topping off my car because it looked like it was a little low. My dumb self forgot that like a nasty hill out there. So the car looked like it was really low, and I just went ahead and topped it off. And obviously now it's like a little too past the full mark. So what I'm gonna have to do now is I'm gonna have to go ahead and jack the car up, and I brought an oil pan and everything because we have, where's it at? That big oil pan right there. but I figured it'd be easier with the other one, with one of them smaller like open oil pans. So I brought one of those in the car, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and loosen the drain plug. I'm gonna loosen the drain plug a little bit just to let the oil kind of trickle out, and then I'll just go ahead and start kind of checking the level as it trickles out, and then I'll seal it up once it's done. Alright, and so that's the end of that. So I went ahead and finished welding it up. From what I can see, I don't see like any pinholes or anything anywhere. I went ahead and hit it with the flap disc just to get the splash off. It's like the main thing that I hate about welding with flux. But unfortunately, it's the only thing that I can use here at this shop, because these buildings really can't take a lot of pull, a lot of amperage. So I don't want to like blow the breaker or anything, so I have to deal with the flux welder here. But I mean, for what I use it for, I only weld steel and stainless steel anyways, because I don't get any of that fancy titanium aluminum crap. So yeah, so this will do. But anyway, so aside from welding up that header, which I already have in the back of the Integra, so I can take it to my boy here in the next few days, so he could go ahead and throw it on his car. I also started kind of messing with this because when I was kind of taking everything back out after I finished welding up and stuff, I found the instruction paper in the box. So I started going through the instructions, and I basically really quickly taught myself how to zero this out. I zeroed it out with the 2 to 3. So what I ended up doing was I ended up measuring this journal right here, the very first journal on the top here, and I'll explain to you why there's 2 crankshafts here in a second. This is the crankshaft that belongs to that motor there. So what I ended up doing was I took the 2 to 3 inch micrometer, measured it on here, and then I ended up getting so it basically ended up measuring, come on, focus please focus. Alright, I guess it's not gonna focus. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the reading. So it's basically 2, because obviously the micrometer is a 2 to 3 inch, so the minimum it can read is 3.0000. So basically right now we're at 2.15 plus 15 makes it 6.5, and then up here we've got lined up at the 5, so it's 2.1655. When you come over here to the book shows that the main bearing journals numbers 1, 2, 4, and 5 should measure 2.1644 to 2.1654. We have a difference of 0.00. There's actually should be one more zero there. 0.0001. So basically 1/10,000th, which isn't much. I'm assuming and estimating that 1/10,000th or 1/1000th of a difference is 10th 1,000th, because it's 4 decimal places. Anyways, so that small difference is mainly due to the temperature, because it is really hot and humid in here, so the metals obviously expand a little bit, and that's why we get that slight extra little 0.0001 of a difference here. So anyways, so I went ahead and measured it. If you see here, it says that your standard oil clearance for factory bearings should be basically 0.0009 to 0.017 inch, with a maximum of 2/1000ths. Now, most performance applications usually get assembled to about 2/1000ths. If it's gonna be seeing like high boosts and stuff like that, it's usually better to set them to about 2,500, so 0.0025. If you guys don't watch Real Street, you can go watch Real Street and watch Jay building a B20 and stuff like that, and he explains why that's like a benefit and whatnot. Basically, you can run a thicker oil. You can run like 40 or even 50 weight, and you get better oil pressure, and it's basically better for higher performance engines. So like, especially like if you see people, and I'm sorry to keep rambling on, it's just I get excited about this type of stuff. When you see people building these crazy V8s, like with the blowers and stuff like that, a lot of times those things are built to like 3/1000s and 4/1000s of clearance to run the type of oil that they run or whatever, and to be able to do what it is that they do. However, those cars are simply turn on, do a pass, and a lot of times they get shut off before they even cross the finish line. So as they're going down the area where the cars are slowing down, I can't remember the technical name for it. Usually the cars are already off, and then there's a golf cart down at the end waiting for them that pulls them around. So obviously you can't build a car, you can't build an engine with those type of clearances for daily driving. It needs to be a little bit tighter. Like some Toyotas and stuff nowadays, they'll run half of these clearances, maybe even less than that. But so here is our oversized bearing. When I tested our oversized bearing here, I got a clearance of like negative 10 thousandths, which means way too tight. So our standard, I have 1 and 1 torque down here. So I went ahead and measured our standard, which is over here. Sorry that you can't see because the phone can't focus. There we go. When I measured our standard here, I got 0.0015, which is right between that 9/1000ths and 17/1000ths, which is basically where we need to be at. And the only way that I could fix that is if not fix it because it's not a problem, but if I was to build this thing for high boost, I would have to probably order the King, what are they? They're either HF or HX bearings. Do your research, they're H something. And what they do is they basically have a specialty coating that allows you to go up like a half an inch. Some people would do half of one of those bearings, like up in the top, and then do the stock bearing in the bottom. And you'll get an extra like 1/1000th of clearance. So in that case, you would be getting like 0.0022. So, and I'm sorry if I'm boring some of you guys, but this is the stuff that I like to do. As far as like assembling cars and doing all that, that's all good and stuff. But this right here, this is what gets me going. All right, well, I went ahead and drained like, I want to say that's probably like half a quart. I don't know, we'll see. But that drain plug was a pretty good drain plug. I had to like damn near take it, well, I had to basically take it all the way out and then just kind of hold it at an angle to be able to let some of the oil drain out. But yeah, I was looking down. It looked like I have an oil leak. I've had a lot of issues in the past with these turbo return lines like leaking and stuff like that. And also recently my oil pan was loose, so I actually like just snugged it up, and I thought it was leaking again, but I actually noticed, I was like, why is my compressor wet? And then I'm looking up there, it's kind of hard to see, but you see that little like, let me see, all the way up there, see that bolt right there that goes to the power steering pump. So I'm wondering if that O-ring that goes in there is like shot and it's dripping down here, because if you could see, like my whole subframe or my frame rail is like wet, and then also the compressor is wet, and then if you look at my crank pulley, it's like wet right there, which is where the, where the power steering belt goes. So yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's what's causing my mess down here. It's dripping down from the power steering pump up there. So I have to order one of those kits and just go ahead and rebuild it. So yeah. Also, I don't think I've ever done like a full walk around of my car. In case you guys are curious, I do run mostly like hard race stuff. So that's like a hard race control arm. And that's another hard race control arm up there with the camera kits. And also I have these super rare Tanabe Sustek coilovers that Tanabe Japan only released for the Type R, and they come with a secondary set of springs. Those red springs that you see there, they're called helper springs. And that's actually what allows the suspension to feel like a stock car. I believe the only other cars that did that from the factory was Porsche. But yeah, so unfortunately, Tanabe USA, the new coilovers that they have, they don't come with those helper springs. So they probably don't feel as great. But I did do some research and I did find online that you can get separate helper springs. I just don't know how you would go about to adding them to your coilovers. But yeah, I mean, if you can definitely add a set of helper springs to your coilovers, I can guarantee you they'll make the ride so much better. And then because of the fact that they only made these for Type Rs, let me take you around to the back here. Oh, there's the headers out. I left them there so they could cool off. If you look here, for me to be able to fit these, what do you guys notice? Only the real enthusiasts will notice. If you're a real enthusiast and you know what I'm talking about, these right here are Type R control arms. So when I bought these coilovers, I bought them off some Jamaican gentleman who had them on his Type R in Jamaica, and he shipped the whole suspension setup over here. He was actually going to install it on his CRX, because if you guys didn't know, the CRX is actually I think we're like the only EF chassis that had like suspension like the Integra. So I think some CRXs came with these control arms. But so when I bought it off the gentleman, he gave me the control arms as well as the coilovers, because the Type Rs, they have the little eye, it's like a little hole, like a little eyelid thing that goes here, and the bolt goes through, versus every other Integra that has the regular control arm. You see them and they have the little fork style thing that sits on the control arms. So yeah, for me to be able to use these coilovers, I had to convert my rear suspension to Type R. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult for me to let this car go. The suspension is just so nice, and it's like one of a kind, and it's one of those things where like, if I was to ever get rid of this car, like I would probably never be able to get this again, unless I paid a stupid amount of money. But yeah. But yeah, so that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. I'm freaking exhausted, and I'm happy that I was able to accomplish what I accomplished with that motor, and that I was able to weld up my buddy's headers, and that I was able to clean up the workbench, and I made a lot of good progress tonight. I mean, I was only here for like maybe 4 hours, if that, and I think 1 hour of that, when I got here, I was just kind of trying to come up with a game plan. So I'm happy with the results. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it at that. I think that's enough of an update for you guys, and I'm gonna strive to record a lot more. We do have a 3-week break coming up from school, so this week right here is my last week in school. I'm gonna be taking my finals exam somewhere around Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. I won't be able to go to school because I have my work dinner Thursday night. So I already spoke to the teacher. She said I can take it online, and I believe she said she's gonna open it Tuesday night or Wednesday night or something like that. So once I take that, I will be free from school until I believe like January 8th or 9th or something like that. So these next 3 weeks are gonna be crazy. Apart from pulling the transmission from Gabriel's car, getting it up on the bench, and figuring out what's going on with the fourth gear, and installing that surprise, I also have to go help a good friend of mine, a gentleman named Tommy. He has an old Astro van. I'm not gonna say too much about the direction of where this channel's going, but there are a few other things that I want to start experimenting with, and I am gonna be starting to collect a few different things soon, aside from all this Honda stuff, because there are a few other platforms that I want to start experimenting with coming in, like in the following year, in the coming year. But so one of the first things that I'm gonna do is, on this 3-week break, I will be helping Tommy pull out the motor from that Astro van, and he's gonna rebuild it. I don't know if I'm gonna be there for the rebuilding process. I know for a fact he needs my help pulling it, just because, you know, he's a little older, and he wants a nice strapping young man like myself to help him pull the motor out and do all the heavy lifting and stuff. So I'm gonna help him with that, and then he's gonna rebuild the motor. I'm gonna see if I can give them a hand, because like I said, this type of stuff is the stuff that I love to do. And I especially love to do it when it's something that I have never done before. Everybody that knows me thinks that I'm crazy for just jumping headfirst into stuff I've never done before. But my determination and my willpower always makes me push through until I get it done, and get it done correctly. But so yeah, so with that, guys, I'm gonna leave you. I'm not gonna rant anymore. I'm not gonna ramble anymore. If this is your first time seeing one of my videos, make sure that you go through, go to the channel, check out a bunch of videos, because I will guarantee you that there are many, many better videos than this. If you did like the video, please make sure to like. If you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or if you just want to chit chat, go ahead and throw a comment down below. I usually do reply to my comments, to the majority of them. I don't usually reply to all the comments in my shorts, but I do reply to the comments in my videos, especially if people have questions and I can help them in some sort of way. Also, don't forget to share this if you like it and you know somebody else that would like this type of content. Feel free to share my videos with them. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell notification, because as of right now, I am not on a fixed schedule. So if you like these videos and you want to be notified as soon as I upload a new video, hit that bell notification. And that's it, guys. I'm gonna leave you guys here. I'm going home, I'm going to sleep, and I will catch you on the next one.